I'm ready. And
Are
we're
you?
live.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Been
Hi,
a while.
everybody.
Hi.
Been a while.
Hi.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Ah.
more random noises. Random noise.
Do it. What?
What's going
How's
on,
everybody
guys?
doing?
Nerdy Bit Show, episode 21.
2.
Ooh, we're old enough to drink now.
We are.
22, I think.
No, it's 21.
Ben, you're bad at this.
I literally checked earlier today. I looked at the last episode.
I also don't remember any of these jokes, so I feel like they would have happened at any point if we had an episode 21.
Since Caleb asked, I'm very tired. And I don't know why. Probably because I'm dieting. And it sucks. And I hate it.
Yeah, dieting is a thing. That sucks a lot.
Ooh,
But you gotta
episode
do it.
21, The Wonderful World of Christopher Nolan. This is episode 22, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, shit. Well, Ben was right. For once
Ben,
in
you're
his
good at
life.
this.
A round of apologies would be acceptable.
I'm sorry. Forgive me.
I thought that Ben was right would be the apology. Like, that would be
Nope.
good enough.
Nope, that is not what an apology is.
I'm sorry
I
that
need you to look
You
into the
thought-
windows of my soul and say, I'm just sorry with no extra addendums. Just, that's right.
I can't do that, so I'm just going to do this. And I'm sorry.
Thank you. The person I'm live with doesn't say I'm sorry.
Well, neither does the person I live with.
I need to
Or
I need to get where I can find it.
Or the dogs. Dude, Morty ate a whole check last week, bro. An entire check. It like the mailman, he likes to yeet it into the box, like yeet it into the door slot. Like he's every day just yeet. Like that's his thing. Like Ninja Stars.
Yeah.
And Morty got a hold of it, and we would get the notification, the email in the morning about like what mail you're getting for the day. And we were out at dinner, and I was like, "Oh, did you get your check? Your check came through." I was like, "No." She's like, "Well, Morty might have it." So I immediately pull up the camera. Morty's on the couch, laying down, pieces of paper everywhere. Just yeah,
Nice.
Getting that bread, homie.
no apologies. I didn't get an apology for
No.
that.
Oh, of course not. Why would you? Morty's like, it was good.
It wasn't me.
It was
Sorry I
tasty.
didn't share any with you. I don't know.
Yeah. So anyway, Loki
Yeah.
and Black Widow.
Chill.
Yeah.
Where did we start? Did we start with Black Widow? Or did we start with Loki?
Which is the
Loki
longer
ended before Black
conversation.
Widow came out, didn't it? No, not.
Did
not
everyone
technically.
see Black Widow?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we're on it, man.
Let's talk about Black Widow.
Let's go to Black Widow.
Okay.
Let's do it.
What do you guys think
Okay.
about Natasha Romanoff's movie?
Yeah,
I'll be
It's-
the
I-
unpopular one. I thought it was really good.
really good.
Really good?
I really, really, really enjoyed it. I really did.
Wow,
What's
that's
another
really
really good? What's another really good movie so we can compare the two and see what the standard is?
The fuck?
Name one other movie that's really good.
Is this like
Iron
Tenet?
Giant.
Tenet? Whoa! What?
Iron Giant.
No, he just said name another movie that's good, so I picked one way
I
back
said-
in.
I
didn't-
there
was
what's
no
what's your
correlation
equivalent
with
to
Iron
this?
Giant is
My
got-
equivalent to this, my equivalent to this would be,
Endgame. I'm just kidding.
like Doctor Strange.
Hmm.
Or
So you're saying this is Doctor Strange good?
Or yeah, no, I do think it is. I think it is. It's also maybe a little bit geared more towards me because it really feels like it's in the same vein as like
There's more.
Captain America Winter Soldier. Like it's a spy movie. It's a lot more quiet. It's got a lot less big dumb going on.
The third act.
I mean, they killed a lot
Yeah,
of
but
people at the prison. A lot of people. Like loads of people died.
That was not very quiet.
I mean,
Like
Yeah.
truckloads of people.
but they also all like kind of ran inside, so you don't know if they died. So who knows?
they dead as fuck, bro.
they're super dead.
If anything, they're suffocating because it's all fucking.
Well, I mean,
covered
you don't
in
build a
snow.
prison at the bottom of a mountain without avalanche contingencies. The same reason you don't build in California without earthquake contingencies.
People still die in California from earthquakes, though, right? Like if there's an earthquake, they're still gonna die.
Yeah, sure, but like
Plan for
buildings are
this.
made.
I was ready.
This got dark. Anyway, how's the movie?
I also don't know. I also don't understand the recent like argument point that people have about superheroes killing people. It's weird to me, and I don't know where it came from. But it seems like we cannot talk about superheroes anymore without being like they kill a lot of people.
They don't get held accountable. That's why.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Well, most of the time they don't kill good people.
Ooh.
So it's okay to kill bad people because that's kind of the logic a lot of police officers use, and not necessarily the truth.
I think that that's maybe twisting.
Wait, this was just a prison. Why does prison workers mean? What about the people working the prison?
Like, there's some innocent people in there, dude.
Yeah, dude.
some cafe work, some cafeteria worker just gets destroyed.
I don't think that prison
guilty by association.
I don't think that everybody in that prison's dead.
Some people were there for visitation. Like,
how about the
most of that prison was underground anyway, y'all.
How about the building Romanoff blew up in the middle of like town square because she wanted to kill a Russian gangster?
This is literally Black Widow when she was a bad person.
Okay, all right.
This is I have a lot of red in my ledger that she's been running with in the entire time she's been in the MCU. That was her admitting to doing bad shit. So yes, that was bad shit.
Are we gonna blanket just everybody that worked in the Red Room as bad guy? There's no laundry people up there, or electricians, or
just put on a Craigslist ad and now they're there.
Cafeteria, yeah. This sweet gig, man. Living in the clouds. Elevated life. Oh shit! Vote for this.
I don't think. I don't know. I think the Red Room's different than.
Here's your first paycheck and a parachute.
Yes, obviously.
Orientation.
Why? Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. It won't happen. Maybe. Definitely. Probably. Hopefully not.
I'm not to be negative Nancy all the time. I liked a lot of it. I think the first two acts. I think the first act is phenomenal. I think the Russian spy family getting away, like the first opening scene is really tight. Never seen anything like that in Marvel. Right, very good. I think the family dynamic was very good. I do hate how what's the new widow's name? Yelena just sort of painted over the fact that her family was like her one tie to sanity, and her mom was the cause of her entire life's like problems, and they just sort of painted right over that. Like, oh, family, love you, mom, see you around. Like, kind of painted right over that, right? That kind of sucks. That's a pretty big gaping hole, yeah. But like Red Guardian, great. I need to see him again, please.
Yeah,
right.
He's great.
And she will be a great. Yelena will be a great widow. I cannot wait to see her interact with everybody else.
I think she stole the show for me.
Yeah.
She's great. She buys the vest and she's like, it's got a lot of pockets. She's fucking great.
I felt that because I love cargo shorts, and I tell Aaron all the time, like, that's the functionality of it.
I know what I'm getting you for Christmas.
Oh yeah, that's all I ever need is fucking cargo shorts.
No, a vest. Cargo vest.
Ooh, I'll do that, dude. In a heartbeat, I'll do that. Amazing. Yeah, I think she stole the show. I look forward to her future, and I think maybe we'll probably get some more story on her, and maybe in the future we never like.
Be great,
you know.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe she'll explore those feelings about her mom.
Yeah,
that'd be nice. Yeah. I think this movie suffered what a lot of movies suffer, which is a complete collapse at the third act. Some great movies do that. Spielberg movies do that. It's not uncommon, right?
Yeah.
I think yeah, it just felt sort of ham-fisted, but I was just sort of waiting for it to end at that point when the fortress started to fall apart. So, I don't know. I don't know if the gravity is. I don't think that there's enough gravity there that Romanoff created this. Not, I hate to say monster, but right, that's kind of the whole thing. It was like Frankenstein's monster kind of thing, right? And then you know what I mean? Like, that didn't seem broached.
I feel like the story, because it has a bookmarked end already, I think that's kind of another reason why the third act wasn't as interesting. And I feel like the villain was definitely an afterthought, which is fine. I did not like how they did Taskmaster. I think I wanted a little bit more from Taskmaster. Like, I wanted him to be more of a villain.
Yeah.
I think we're going to get a whole lot more of her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. I'd love to see her come back. I'd love to see her
dead.
I'd love to see her recover and become that mouthy super agent that everybody wanted. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Have a character arc with a villain for once. That'd be neat.
Well, there's really no like impetus for the
for Loki,
the widows to, or the whatever you call them.
The
there's no reason for the widows to like just be good guys now, right? It's like turning a bunch of super spies loose and saying you can work for whoever you want now instead of being a slave. And so like there's a really good possibility that we're going to see a lot of Yelena Belova going around and like trying to like.
I don't know. They did have that sort of maternity or not maternity, sorority kind of thing where they brought in Taskmaster and they're like, all right, let's go take care of each other kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
I know that
But I
doesn't
still don't think
necessarily
that makes
scream
them good
heroes.
guys.
Right.
Yeah. Right. They just get to do the jobs they want to do now instead of being possessed to go do things.
Yeah.
I think there's a bit too much ridiculous. I think there's a bit too much ridiculousness though. I wanted more Jason Bourne, and it still had to like inject some stuff, some superhero stuff, and it seems weird to me because we all know Romanoff's not a superhero. There's at least
Do you
three
think
times
she did superhero
died.
shit? Well, the car crashes, but
Car crash is pretty bad, and then falling off the roof, bouncing off all those air vents, like.
Oh yeah, dude.
Right.
I think I nudged Aaron like, yeah, she should be fucking pancaked by now. Like,
Yep.
that one was bullshit.
At least 20 broken bones, at least.
Even when they have Captain America do that, because they've had him do that fall a few times. I always wonder, like, how can he just hop right back up off of that? Yeah. But she definitely
if
shouldn't.
John Wick can do it, I think Black Widow can.
Dude, let me fall off my back deck.
There.
What's the worst? I don't remember. Did John Wick have a fall exactly like that?
He falls off of the top of the Continental into a fucking dumpster and survives.
Yeah. He bounces off the freaking fire escape on the other building, and then goes back across and lands on a dumpster, and then just gets up and like hobbles away. Like
I think people forget that Christopher Reeves fell off a horse. Christopher Reeves fell off.
He didn't just fall off the horse though. The horse kind of just did a little thing on top of him. It wasn't.
He got stepped on.
Yeah, he didn't just fall off a horse. That's not what happened. You fall off a horse.
Okay, but people do have bicycle crashes hard enough to crack your skull, right?
Oh yeah.
So and movies are just like, nah.
And some people skydive and their chutes don't open and they survive though.
I guess.
Yeah.
Like sometimes people be bouncy.
Every movie that you see someone pull someone up with one hand is completely fantasy. 100% fantasy.
Yep.
I believed it in Batman Begins though because it looked like it fucking hurt.
Inside joke time. Tech Caleb just said children are malleable. Just want to throw that out there.
Did you say
resilient?
Oh my god.
Yeah. No, I didn't.
People are resilient.
I said sometimes people be bouncy.
It's an inside joke.
I did not say I'm gonna ricochet my kid around the floor and see what happens.
Tech and I had a moment of asphyxiation at a friend dinner because people kept insisting that kids are resilient, and our brains just went to dark places. We just couldn't stop laughing.
Dude, I do not remember laughing that hard. That's one of the hardest laughs I've ever had.
Y'all, when I tell you that my daughter will jump off of the couch, tuck her legs underneath her, and land straight on her knees, and then get up and run off. They built different when they're that young. They're bone. I don't know, man.
But what did you feel about the character of Black Widow? That's me getting out of this conversation before I go further into my kids dying rant.
Let's talk about the movie about kids that are taken and turned into weapons.
Oh, let's talk about the action and choreography. What did you guys think about that? Wasn't superly impressed by the I wasn't very impressed by the fight scenes. Nothing really sticks out in my mind. Just it's been a few weeks since I've seen it, but nothing
made me go, oh, nothing.
I do. I had a couple of moments. So in the beginning when Yelena and Natasha fight the first time, there's a really visceral throw that puts Natasha through a doorway and her leg gets caught and she fucking tumbles. Really good. Instead of it being like a fancy, I'm gonna roll out of this shit. It felt like someone got thrown into something that didn't plan on being thrown into it. And then it happens later when she's fighting the widows and gets like fucking tossed around.
Yeah.
And like flipped in midair by another person, like a third person.
They just chucked her between a few people onto the desk.
Yeah, it's real bad. I think that the smaller fights are better. I think the fight with the widows is fine until she starts shooting her wrist guns, because you can tell she's not actually shooting wrist guns. She's going, and that's not how guns work.
But we don't know how these wrist guns work. They just look like
it could be Star Trek.
It was shooting like electric shocks at people. That's
right. But like she was moving her shoulder, and like your lower. We know when you see someone shooting a gun and they're not shooting a gun that's actually shooting, and their whole arm moves instead of like their wrist and forearm first, because they're trying to imitate it. And like your whole body doesn't move with a handgun. Your
You're-
wrists and forearms do.
You defended her insane fall, but you're angry at the realist, like her not portraying shooting something realistically enough through her shoulder.
I didn't really defend her fall. I more said like maybe that was really my defense. But like for some reason that specific thing took me out of it. I thought that a lot of the close hand-to-hand stuff was pretty good. You can tell when they use somebody who's less familiar with fighting because the cuts are more abundant. But like that first fight in that room in Budapest is great. I loved it. The first couple of Taskmaster fights are pretty cool too. I wish Taskmaster was the bad guy, not Ray Winstone, who's great, but not a good bad guy.
No Russian accent for some strange reason. Because it's Ray Winstone, so
yeah.
Anyway, we need to probably talk about a universally applauded production and move on to Loki.
15 minutes of a 60-minute podcast dedicated to Black Widow, and you're done.
Yep.
So I just think just like overall, I don't think it. I can. When I left the theater, I told Aaron I liked it, but I can see why people won't like it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I think maybe the timing of it, maybe because I personally hate when I know someone dies, right? Like the character dies. Yeah. Like, and I felt a way when they announced this. Like, man, I wish this would have came out before Endgame.
Man, imagine the impact then, man. That'd be crazy.
I
guess, yeah.
I like that this was like a backstory and also like an origin story for it was two different people having the same movie, but we found out more about Black Widow, and then we got an origin story for
the next one.
For the next one.
Yeah,
so
Yelena.
I feel like that's really cool. Like we got two things inside of one instead of later on getting a Elena origin story or some shit.
That's true. Yeah. And then Red Guardian, like I want to see him again. He was so good. There's talks today that Kevin Feige said he wants to see Red Guardian fight Captain America, Sam Wilson, Captain America. I'd love that type of shit.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
that's not a fair fight because Red Guardian's actually super soldier and Sam's not.
But Sam knows how to fight super soldiers. He knows how to fight aliens. Like, he's good. Like, he's not going to be scared.
So what's up with the after
Valentino?
After the credits?
Yeah, the Valentina
Allegra.
Yeah,
that's so dope. I loved how they did that.
So good.
Sending her after Clint.
Yeah, but like blaming Clint.
Well, see, like
they literally fought over that fucking position.
Well, that's something that Yelena finds out after she finally gets Clint down to like his last breath, and he's like, I tried to die. I tried to be the one that did it. And then she's like, oh no, I fucked up. Now I have to, I mean, like that's the crux.
Now we're gonna fight together.
Yeah, you gotta think of
this facility we're both in.
You gotta think of Valentina like a very much more corrupt Nick Fury, right? Yeah. Like she knows how to sell her agenda. She knows how to manipulate the back situation. That's basically like her role is the evil, like on the fence Nick Fury. So like I'm excited to see what they do with her and like the team she's building. I think that's super exciting. So far,
we're gonna see Yelena and US Agent working together.
Yeah, at least those two. Maybe some Abomination might be a part of that. Taskmaster might be a part of that. It can go a number of ways that I think is super dope.
That's how we get more Taskmaster for sure. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I dig that.
I'm super excited about that.
I also think that this movie, aside from setting up a bunch of stuff going forward, that's very good. I'm sure part of the Hawkeye show and him training Kate is going to be dealing with Yelena coming after him and Kate being a replacement for him if he dies. Excuse me. I also want to talk about the thing that was discovered this week, right? We got to talk about that. The Marvel planning fight scenes or whatever. A separate team taking fight scenes.
I think I misspoke. I definitely misspoke, but it's something that's I think a lot of people don't know about.
Sure.
It definitely came out a few months ago that I was made aware of it.
I remember coming out a few months ago and thinking like, bah. Like I remember discarding it.
I remember talking about like that's crazy. Like they like it. Ben, why don't you summarize for the people who don't know what we're talking about?
All right, so like they started making Endgame like in 2018 or earlier, with these animatics, which might have been based off a loose script, probably, most likely. Obviously, you don't just start animating, but and they made like 7,300 animatics for this movie alone, and they do it for Lord of the Rings and lots of other stuff too. Animatics, if you guys don't know, just Google it. It looks like really rough, like PlayStation 2 animation, but it gets the point across, it gets the camera across, and then and the cinematography and all that stuff, and when to cut the camera, and choreography and everything. It's crazy. They put all the work at the hands of the animators. And then what's even more insane about it is if you watch the Insider review or article on it, is that the animatics actually save all the crane and dolly shot information and the length and the lens information,
focal length, yeah.
And then when things are shot in real life, they just are pre-programmed. So there's not a dolly operator anymore. It's all just pre-programmed in by the animatics from like 4 years ago or some shit. So talking about, computers taking our jobs, right? Like you can't even be a production.
I still think they're writing it, right? Like the people who are like the directors and the screenplay, they were part of the process. They're just a part of the process earlier. So it's not like it's
there's a separate crew called the Third Floor with a different director and different teams of writers that are separate from the movie's production, working on things that they think they need to have control over, that Marvel says, you guys do this. There's the lady that turned down Black Widow, turned it down because she said that they told him, don't worry about the action scenes. So
See, I read that differently than I think you do. Like, because she says
the movie, though.
Yes, but then the actual director said that Kevin Feige came to her and said, I want the fight scenes to be more close and intimate, like a spy movie. Why the fuck would he be talking to her about that if she has no say in it? And I think maybe the first director who had never filmed an action scene was like, I'm a little worried about action scenes, and they were like, don't worry about it. And she meant like, I'm excited to try out doing action scenes. And they meant, if you're not good at it, we'll help. And she, you know what I mean? That sounds like a communication breakdown more than it sounds like.
We also have Edgar Wright's story in which he wasn't allowed to have more
that's
control.
Also not from his mouth. That's from another person, assuming that's why Edgar Wright left.
Ben, I have a question for you, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe this is the reason the MCU movies are so fucking good.
Yeah, I thought of that too.
The writers and directors have to focus on the actual story, everything going on around it, and then they have this unit that focuses on the action. Now, with like I think this reminds me of like production with the Neptunes, right? You had one person in the Neptunes. You guys know the producers of the Neptunes?
Yes.
You had one person, Pharrell, doing all the melodies. And then you had Chad doing all the drums. And their music was known for both being really solid. So you had two different people working on two different parts, but bring it together, and it's an amazing. Maybe this
obviously Marvel has done something unprecedented with like 25 movies in the pipe, right?
Yeah, like maybe this is a good formula. Like
it is and it isn't. I'm going to agree with you because that's absolutely probably part of the formula. Obviously, Kevin Feige is a huge component of making this whole universe feel cohesive. Obviously, there's thousands of people involved that are all working together in some beautiful concert. But I will attribute this until proven otherwise that I don't know why I feel like attributing The Third Floor to some of my least favorite moments in these movies, because it does feel incongruous from the rest of the movie. Like Black Panther feels like a different movie in the first and second act, and then fucking Rhinoceros has come out and they do this big field fight and it just feels dumb and lazy and sloppy. Like
what?
The end of Black Panther just feels like duh to me. Plus the Wakanda fight in Infinity War is also very weird and it doesn't fit. It just doesn't. I don't know. There's these big, huge set pieces that just doesn't feel like it fits the rest of the movie.
I officially hate you now. So
I don't agree with either of those.
We've established that now.
I think that the Black Panther and Killmonger fight is a little bad because it's mostly.
I hate that too.
It reminds me of
Blade 100% all
3,
CG.
But I thought.
But I think the fight in the field with the different factions of Wakanda fighting each other is
amazing.
Great.
I thought it was amazing. Okoye has to fight her husband, and like I thought that was dope.
Yeah,
don't care for it. And the Infinity War one especially is like Wakanda is our only defense against Thanos and his crew, and they pull out a bunch of capes and laser spears. Like, can we get some laser panthers or something? Can we get some jets? Can we get some tanks? Like,
they're flying shit around.
Dude, they just been hiding in secrecy like the entire existence of their culture. Why would they even have tanks?
Because the comics did. They giant fucking metal panthers. No, the idea behind Wakanda is it's impenetrable inside or outside. Like you can't fuck with them, and they were very fuck withable by some like space dogs.
But what if? How horrible would it be if like that'd be the end of the series? Like if it's impenetrable and they defeat Thanos.
The United States military could have done better than Wakanda. That's all I'm saying.
Dog shit.
Caleb.
Yeah, no, fuck out of here, dude.
Homie, this dude comes down.
Abrams tanks on a battleship can't do better than a bunch of dudes in capes. Get the fuck out of here.
This dude came down from space, out of nowhere.
Space dogs.
Let me finish, homie. You're getting grumpy and shit, wearing a red shirt matching your skin tone. If you drop out of space and things come swarming out of your ship, the preparedness of the city nearby is going to be significantly lower than if they see you coming from thousands of miles away. This happens in an instant. They're like, fuck, we got to fight. And they do a pretty good job.
Dude.
But if we
get a helicarrier or something?
Hang on. But with an army, no. Hey, so in an army, they run scenarios on the worst shit that could probably happen that's within their scenario. That's the best they can come up with on a fucking fly.
Wakanda's been hidden from the world. What fucking scenarios are they running? They've been undiscovered for 10,000 years.
It doesn't matter.
Let me ask you guys a question. Let me ask you guys a question. Now, the reason why Captain America said, I know where to take him, because he knows that Wakanda has wonderful defenses, right? Do you think Scott Air Force Base can hold Vision and prepare to stop an alien invasion? I'll answer that for you. No.
I don't think an Air Force Base can.
There's no base.
Hang on. They gave the Winter Soldier a fucking LMG to fucking take him on.
I'm gonna say War Machine.
Like, come on now.
War Machine killed more people on that battlefield than all of Wakanda.
Yes, I will agree with that.
Get the fuck out of here. Okay, yes, a soldier fighting with a spear that shoots laser beams against a guy in a fucking armored suit that flies and has Tony Stark technology in it. There's a difference between the cost of efficiency between those two. One's an infantryman, one's fucking War Machine.
Caleb will defend. Caleb will defend the opposite of my
fucking War Machine, my dude.
Caleb will defend the opposite of my point.
You want 20-year-olds at a military base to go up against space dog aliens and Thanos. Good luck.
Ben, who would you have picked instead of Wakanda?
I gotta fucking get eaten.
Hang on, Ben. Who would you have picked instead of Wakanda?
Texas.
Get fucked.
All right, let's get away from
that's
this.
all Winter Soldier had to fight in that fight was a gun with limited ammunition, and that's fucking
okay. We can't. No one's going to disagree with you that Winter Soldier's been poorly used until this show. He should be running. Like Tech has said this before when talking about Endgame. Like he should be running in the front lines with everybody else that's a super soldier because he's a fucking super soldier, and he should be doing the shit that Steve's doing because he's the same as Steve. I'm not going to disagree about that, but like, I disagree about the Wakanda thing.
I do too, wholeheartedly.
Great. I think that scene's great. Also, my last thoughts on the whole fucking planning action scenes thing. Like, if you look at the list of directors that have made Marvel movies, I don't want all of them trying to do action for the first time.
Yeah,
I don't.
Yep.
I don't. Ant-Man was directed by a guy who directed, I kid you fucking not, Bring It On and Yes Man. Stay the fuck away from my action scenes. Please, thank you.
Agree, 100%.
We got this taken care of.
Don't worry about the action.
Don't fucking worry about it.
Also, we from everything from Love, Death, and Robots to video games and the cutscenes in the video games, like and animation and stuff like that, I feel like when the artists are in control, you get better action than your typical Hollywood or TV production, something like that.
Yeah.
You know, when like Black Widow jumps on somebody, wraps her legs around their head, and flips them over, the camera has to cut fucking 16 times because Scarlett Johansson can't really do that. So like, you know, so when you get it in full CG and you get the artists to do all the choreography and to do all the camera angles and stuff like that, then yeah, you're probably gonna have better results. So that supports that theory.
Yeah.
Guy that directed the Spider-Man movies, which have pretty good fight scenes, directed music videos for Fatboy Slim, and did shorts for The Onion. Stay the fuck away from my fight scenes, please. Direct people in a funny movie, though, 100%. Make people be funny. I like it.
Wait, so somehow we managed to not talk about Loki at all yet. So
yep,
let's
do it.
We're at the halfway point.
We're at the halfway point. Let's talk about Loki, the God of Mischief.
It's my new favorite. It's my new favorite show of the new.
So the question is this the best Marvel show as of yet? You say yes.
I liked the finale for WandaVision a lot. I mean, I like most of the show, but the finale was phenomenal. I like just about all of Falcon Winter Soldier. I was very into that. But as far as like this being like sci-fi and the jokes and the weird like metaphysical and all that stuff out of it, this just sort of like checked all my boxes.
But this was like the most concept heavy. Yeah. This was the most MCU like show. It was the most action almost in every episode. Some form of action in every episode.
Yeah.
Not a lot of I think WandaVision suffered from a lot of exposition. Maybe the first 3 episodes, maybe even more. But I felt like this one got kind of to the point of like telling the story and setting up the story, and I think they did a great job of doing that. I'm not sure. I've watched the season a couple times. Like actually, like yesterday, I watched the entire season again.
Nice.
I would say this is probably the best Marvel show that they've come out with. It kind of shows the power of the Disney Plus show, the power of the format and how strong it can be and how much implications. My mind was literally blown in that last episode.
Yeah,
the last episode's incredible.
I also feel like it doesn't suffer from all those weird rewrites that like WandaVision was clearly a COVID show. I think.
Well, this suffered too.
As beautiful as it was, but like, and then what? Falcon Winter Soldier like took all the pandemic stuff out of the episode, like that felt weird, right? And that this just feels like a more. I have one kind of plot gripe, but besides that, it feels mostly like a complete package that didn't suffer any sort of,
sure,
big snafu or something, or a pandemic or a rewrite or being released outside of its original window, like all that sort of weirdness that's been going on the last 2 years, right?
Yeah.
And that one complaint being, I think, again, my favorite show, I think it was weird how quick Loki and Mobius deemed each other friends. That felt kind of rushed.
I don't think so.
I don't think Mobius was ever antagonistic.
Mobius is
kind of like, come on, man.
Yeah, like his first interaction was, I know what he can do with his powers. And like, he was like, always.
Maybe it's just Loki switching. Like it seemed a little fast for Loki to go, I consider you my friend.
I think what happened was when he saw what happened to him, that changed him. Yeah, like that changed him. So like we saw Loki get changed in real time, right? Yeah. Like through Ragnarok and leading up into Infinity War, like we saw his transition.
Ragnarok really was the start of that, wasn't it? Ragnarok beat him up pretty bad.
Yeah. So
is that scene in the elevator where Thor's just like, fucking do whatever you want, man. I've tried to care for it. Everyone in your life has ever tried to care for you, and you've just fucked it up. So like, do what you want. And Loki's like, oh fuck, like that transfer of mindset happens in this show again for Loki because he hasn't experienced that yet. Sorry, Tech, I cut you off. Go ahead.
Fine. And there was a moment in episode 2 or 3 where I think it was 3, could have been 2, but when Loki came back from probably 3 or 4 actually. From the I forgot the name of the planet, Lamentis, and Morbius was like, you betrayed a friend. Like they had a back and forth where Loki was like, well, what are you going to say now? Like what the Fozy folk, making a comment, and he was like, well, you betrayed a friend. Like so he called him the friend, and I felt like those things leading up to that is what kind of made him change even faster than he did when we actually saw him in Ragnarok and so on.
And then Loki sees him get fucking pruned, and you see it in his face. He's like, fuck.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, big deal. So I don't know if Techie, if you've seen this, or if Ryan, if you've seen this. Super spoilers. I guess we should open up shows like this with that, but whatever. I talked to Ben about this last night. Have you seen that if you play the last episode of WandaVision and the last episode of Loki together, they sync in parts?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So for people who don't know, the moment where Jonathan Majors' character Kang is like realizing they're passing the threshold of what he knows is when Wanda's like absorbing all of Agatha's energy and becoming the Scarlet Witch, like in full final form. And then when Agatha drops to the ground is the same moment that Kang drops his little time manipulative wrist watch thing. They drop it like the same moment too. And I thought that shit was really interesting.
His smartwatch.
Do you think that was deliberate? Do you think that was 100% deliberate? Do you think that the reason why that they've gone past the threshold is because of this Nexus event that's happening with WandaVision?
Well, I mean, she'd be the first Nexus being, right? She's the first in existence being that only exists in this place, no other places.
Maybe her arrival has triggered something else. Not just the splitting of timelines, but she's the one that can transcend all of them. You know, maybe, perhaps she's the one that can bounce. Like her and Strange, right, are the ones that can fix this. So maybe Kang sensed that, right?
Yeah, and just so we know that he is not Kang, but Kang. He's Immortus, based off of more Immortus than actual Kang the Conqueror that we know. But there's always been multiple Kangs, and he's
there's also like the Council of Kangs, right? That you see in like the comics several times where there's like a dozen of them. Not all of them are the Conqueror. He kind of says that in his speech. Like, I've been the scientist, the Conqueror. Like, he lists his names.
Ain't this a grandpa? And then if I've ever heard one.
He referred to when he said like, "Oh, she still calls me that." Oh, she calls me that. Like he obviously is not the original He Who Remains in the comic books. That's an old white dude, right? Yeah. So, but he is the maybe emerging of the characters, perhaps. But he's definitely we all know for sure, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that Jonathan Majors is Kang in Quantumania.
Right.
And that was Jonathan Majors. And he's Kang
He's Kang
here.
at the end of this show. Yeah, at the very last scene. Ben brought this up too, the moment when fucking Sylvie stabs him. And he's just like, see you soon.
See you soon. Like just
winks at her.
Yep. Shit is so dark, and I love it so much.
I was with all my predictions. I could have swore to you the week before me and Ben were on Tasty Steve's stream talking about Loki. I was like, "There's no way they're going to put Jonathan Majors in the final episode. Like, there's literally no way."
Really? I said, awesome.
You said we're going to get like a silhouette of him and like a Thanos smile, right?
Yeah, like some little teaser or something. Mm-hmm. And then they just blasted it, dude. I was like
the whole episode is.
I was like, Mike. I went like this. Like, I was like, they got me. Like, I felt like WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier kept jabbed you near the end, right? Like the finales would jab, and this is a fucking haymaker.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I got set up.
Yeah. WandaVision was like, nerd. It's not that cool. And Falcon and Winter Soldier was like, nerd. No. And this was like, yeah, no, it's actually that.
So I had a thing with WandaVision. I loved the music. I love Agatha all along. Like that, I have it on the Spotify playlist. But the music in Loki was damn fucking good.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, you said but after saying you loved WandaVision, and I thought you were going to say you hated this. I loved this music.
Dude, like.
I loved this
music. It grew on you, Tech. At some point during Steve's podcast, you weren't. Well, because
it was okay, right? It was all right. But Natalie Holt.
Yeah, dude. Yep. This soundtrack's fucking great. She uses that theremin for that like old sci-fi. Ooh, stuff, you know.
There's a lot of like Norse like tones in it too, like some really dry sounding strings and shit that like feel very like, oh yeah, they're from Asgard. It's great. And the TVA theme.
All I can recall is just it's got a theme song. Yeah, Koi in the chat's talking about it, but like the dun 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 dun.
Dude, I love that, bro.
So good. So much brass and weight. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, the TVA theme, the boom, boom, that shit fucking, when every time the credits rolled and that shit started playing, I was like,
I like the intro theme song too, though, with the title cycle.
Yeah, that's also very good.
A lot of control overlap here, Caleb.
I'm listening to it now, dude.
Dude,
the Loki green theme is so good.
The green theme is great. Play TVA. TVA, I play that song. I played it in the car once, and Charlie liked it so much. She listens to it before bed now. So every night she goes to bed, she listens to the TVA theme. It's fucking great.
That's great.
There's a little arpeggiating like music box.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's so fucking good. The score's great.
Yeah, Natalie Holt destroyed that soundtrack. She killed
fucking
it.
crushed it.
She killed it.
Okay, so who is Miss Minutes?
I don't.
How is she bouncing back and forth between Kang's fortress and the TVA, and like just seems to have complete autonomous free will? And
I think.
What did she show?
Renslayer.
Renslayer.
You know, we won't know. I think we'll know that in season 2. I hate that we didn't like Miss Minutes is amazing. Like the character is amazing. The how she's actually a villain is amazing. I'm sad that we didn't get the fight scene. There was supposed to be a fight scene that they deleted between Miss Minutes and Sylvie and Loki because Jonathan Majors wasn't going to be in it. They actually did that. They like to change it kind of last minute and like added him into it basically.
Wow.
Along as with their plans were something different, completely different. But then they said, "Fuck it, let's just do it." But Miss Minutes is kind of, I don't know if she's real or not, like in a physical form. Loki was trying to hit her in one episode, but didn't. So yeah, I don't know.
And Renslayer said she's off to find free will.
Yeah.
So you know that Renslayer and Kang like have a romantic thing.
Yeah, I think she's gonna fall. I think she's gonna meet Kang and fall in love with him. Whatever Kang.
She becomes like Princess Ravonna Renslayer or some shit.
She might have gone off to the proper timeline to find the proper Kang to set things in motion. To give her pursuits purpose because she feels purposeless,
Kang
right?
Bang.
Yeah. Kang bang.
Because like she says it all has to, and also a lot of like religious dogma overtones, right? The way she just won't drop it. She's like, this couldn't have all been for nothing. You know, something like that. So
and the whole argument
she's
about
just hanging on to it.
Yeah, the whole argument about free will and predetermination and shit like that. Yeah. It's a very like old pre-Reformation Christian conversation. Thanks Martin Luther for telling them to get fucked. But it's this shit was so good. Like I love that the end of this show, similar to the end of WandaVision, I guess, is instead of you have these characters that you're used to seeing fight all the time. And you have the Visions talking about the ship of Theseus, like logical conundrum. This episode is there's fighting. Sorry, the last episode of Loki. There's fighting, but most of the episode is intellectuals talking to each other, and it's mostly He Who Remains being like, "Am I lying or am I not?"
Yeah,
and like,
and then
asking
Loki being
that
like,
question to two characters whose like purpose is to be deceitful. It's awesome.
He told Sylvie like, "Can you ever actually trust anyone?" And then told Loki, "Can you actually ever be trusted?"
Yep.
And then they had to stand up and face each other, fighting for the fact that this guy might be telling the truth or not, if he can be trusted. And Sylvie just not caring at all.
Loki said something that was so smart to me. He was like, "We need to take our time because this decision is too important to get wrong."
Yeah.
And that made all the sense. But then also, she's a Loki.
Right.
She didn't go through the same thing that he went through. She didn't have the realization. So she stabbed him in the back.
And then she threw him into a dimension where Mobius did not know who he was.
Yeah.
I think she threw him into a dimension that was ultimately then changed by her killing He Who Remains.
Oh, sure.
Because she killed him and then all time's different.
Well, no. No, this show would have you believe that it's just its own timeline.
Because
not one decision affects all timelines. That's not how that works.
That's what He Who Remains said. He said, if you don't take over and fix this, other versions of me will come out and they'll fuck up all of this.
Yeah.
And they're in a place outside of time in that realm. So her killing him means that he's not around to fix the whatever. And he doesn't create the timekeepers. Which is why when Loki ends up at the TVA, which is a place that also exists outside of time, it's Kang the Conqueror holding his fucking helmet as the statue instead of the timekeepers. Because a different version of him fixed things. So I think it's like the TVA is outside of time. They established that like right in the beginning of the show. So whatever Loki shows up to, there's only one existence of the TVA. There's not multiple. So if
I'm confused because if that's true, then he wouldn't have been pushed to a different timeline. It's a different TVA if that's true. So we know
he didn't. I don't think he did.
That's what you're saying, Tech. Yeah, this is he got pushed to the one and only TVA, which is now different.
And fucking Mobius didn't recognize him, which is more than just like, who are you? Mobius spent his entire career studying Lokis.
Oh, sure.
Which means that like there's a good chance that the Kang that comes about knows that Loki's trying to stop him and has been killing all the other Lokis. So Mobius has never been hunting Lokis.
So that leads me to believe that they are in a time loop because they're trying to get rid of Loki to begin with. So one thing we do know is like there is a sacred timeline, but there's always has been a multiverse at the same time, and Kang didn't stop that, or Immortus didn't stop that, or the He Who Remains didn't stop that. Is otherwise they would not be a Sylvie. They wouldn't be an alligator Loki. There has to be active other universes that he's just protecting the sacred timeline, just the one he's protecting. But there's still other timelines.
So I wonder what Kang's goal is going to be with all this nonsense, right? And I put in notes like I wonder why we're going to need 2 movies to cover this, right? We're getting the Multiverse of Madness, which is supposed to be Marvel's first horror flick, right? Or at least horror.
3 if you count Spider-Man.
Horror light. Yeah, sure. Spider-Man, which is more of a Sony production, right? I guess.
No.
And then
no, Spider-Man Far From or No Way Home is Marvel.
Yeah, Marvel Studios.
Yep.
Nice. And then Quantumania, of course. So, like, this is not a problem that's going to be solved quickly, I guess. But then, as we've all hoped and hypothesized, this is a good way for Marvel to just do whatever the fuck they want with X-Men, Fantastic Four, Ghost Rider.
Do you think they can ever go back to a single universe after this?
Maybe not go back to a single universe, but I'd like to see them like level out the universes again, so it's not just chaos, right? Like the He Who Remains would make you believe that this would be multiversal war, which like Multiverse of Madness, Quantumania makes you feel like that's probably a possibility. I would like the idea that like occasionally you have Nexus events where universes cross over, and every couple of years we get a movie that's like, oh, this Spider-Man and this Spider-Man are fighting together, or oh, this Captain America and this Captain America are fighting together, or whatever. But I hope it's not just like anything goes, because that's hard to follow. It's hard. That's hard to follow.
Well, yeah.
Man, so now that we have a little bit of a break, what's next? And
what if?
Okay.
What if?
What if it's canon?
Month?
Like, what if is like they've came out this week and said what if is absolutely a part of the story. It's not just like one-off cartoons. Like, look at this. No, it's actually a part of the story.
Alternate universes. Yeah, sure.
Oh, that's really cool. Sure.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to What If. I mean, I'm a huge fan of the comics of What If, the What If comics. So this is super exciting for me.
And it's the last performance of Chadwick Boseman, so that'll be fucking great to see.
It would be great.
And then after that, we get Shang-Chi in September.
That's going to feel weird, isn't it? When does that take place? What's the timeline on that one?
It's not going to have multiverse shit in it, so it's going to be weird.
Maybe at the end, but...
Yeah, sure. Although there are scenes of them fighting with, like, giant lions and dragons and shit, and they could explain that with an alternate universe if they wanted to.
Yeah, Eternals after that, right?
Sorry?
What Eternals.
Oh, yeah, I thought you said Turtles. And I was like, what?
The Turtles are in Disney now, dude.
Yes. We get Eternals after that, and then we get Spider-Man No Way Home in December.
Man, big year.
So September, November, and December.
Do you think Eternals is going to feel separate or integrated with all these events?
I'm trying to figure out. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, wouldn't it be dope if like they have to like let the presence be known because of this shit?
Exactly. What I was gonna say.
Yeah, exactly, like that would be some dope shit.
This threat is officially bigger than Thanos.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. They're like, we'll let them figure it. Oh shit, timeline shit. Fuck. We gotta deal with this. Yeah, I have no idea.
And I wonder if they're gonna do it where Kang is the only one who knows how to travel through dimensions. So that's the person. Like these wars is gonna be through Kangs. You know what I mean? The multiversal war would be just all Kangs.
Damn. Some Agent Smith shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope we find out in the Eternals how Nowhere was made.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Because they would have been the ones who did it. Right.
What are the Celestials, right?
Yeah, that's what Nowhere is. It's a celestial skull. The place the Guardians of the Galaxy fly into.
I read an old Eternals book. I don't remember who wrote it. It was a Romita Jr. book. It was beautiful. They had Celestials all over the place.
Isn't Thanos' mom also an Eternal?
Yeah, I believe so.
So they got to fess up for that. Something. Yeah, we definitely got some Greek pantheon kind of shit going on with some of that.
Yeah.
So definitely like grooming humanity from the skies kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
like not interfering, but kind of definitely interfering, kind of maybe lying to yourself to the fact that you're not interfering because you totally are, maybe. But yeah, I'm that's probably the one I'm the most excited for, to be honest. I mean, I love me some Spider-Man.
And the director just won a fucking Oscar, so
Right.
Chloe Zhao makes very artistic stuff that Marvel does not do on that level yet. So it'll be very interesting to see what kind of movie that ends up being.
Yeah, I'm gonna be looking at those next two, the Shang-Chi and the Eternals with like, I don't know what to expect eyes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I just don't know what's gonna happen. What like, I don't really have any history with the characters at all.
Damn, Hawkeye's this year too.
Is it?
Yep. Hawkeye's in like November.
God, dude, we were starved for a while because of the pandemic. This is beautiful. This is a great time to be
we're about to be over full.
Oh yeah. A lot of
Late
shit to talk about.
Part of Phase 4. That's nice. I can't wait.
As far as the character arcs, I loved Loki's. I loved Renslayer's. She had a very interesting like story and arc.
I don't know. Well, I think it's more of a half arc because she's discovered the truth, but she's sticking to her dog.
But you don't know what she's on. Like we don't know what she's on. She could just be lying. Like she's been lying this whole time.
That last episode made her look pretty gullible. Like she didn't know.
I think she's manipulating Mobius. Like I think the free will is not what we think. Like she's not on the side of good. Like she's way too hardcore into this TVA shit.
When Miss Minutes said this is what he wants you to see, and she said, "Who's he?" So I don't think she knows what's up.
She also said there's only one person who deserves free will.
Well, that sounds
okay. Like that was after Miss Minutes showed her what she felt like she needed to see.
And that's also something that would be said by someone who believes in like a religious dogma to the point of zealotry, right?
I mean,
she believed the timekeepers were the ones that did. The timekeepers were the ones that needed free will because they kept everything in line.
Nothing
now
changed
that they're gone. Now that they're gone, she's like, well, someone still did this, and they're the only one that deserves it. Yeah,
and that was a trinity.
She's on the side of a villain,
Caleb.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
right.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, I think she's on the side of the villain.
So is Loki permanently changed then?
You know,
it's Loki.
I think Loki's deceits change. Right? I don't think he's going to be the one trying to like take over the world because that's not that's not very Loki anyway.
He just wanted attention.
He's a guy he just wanted attention. Like I think he's grown past that and now he'll be the god that like frequently does shit that's a pain in people's ass, but not like the end of the world or getting people like killed.
I think his love for himself, which was Sylvie, I think that changed him, and I think meeting old Loki changed him a lot. It's like he realizes his potential, and B, that like, you know, you can't squander the people that do love you. You know what I mean? Like you can't shit on the people who actually do care about you.
You want to know my perfect end for Loki? So Tom Hiddleston recently, someone was interviewing him, and they were like, "Would you do this forever?" And he was like, "Yes, at 100%." The perfect ending for Loki to me is that, like, in 30 years, 20 years, whatever, we have Tom Hiddleston come back as old Loki and be the old Loki in this place beyond time and do the fucking thing that old Loki did to just close the fucking loop. That'd be the best.
That'd be pretty cool.
I want that to happen.
That would be kind of cool. But I would hate to watch this again, like just with younger actors. I'm like, oh, that sucks.
Well, not exact, but yeah. And when they're like, "Why are you dressed in that old costume?" Him be like, "I saw someone do it once."
Are we gonna see Mobius and Hunter? What was it? B-15.
B-15.
Are we gonna see them again? You think? They're permanent members.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hunter B-15 was like the badass through the entire series.
That's true.
He was an absolute badass, and Mobius is just so awesome.
Who would have thought the Marvel Universe needed fucking Owen Wilson?
He
Who would
didn't
have
say
thought?
wow one time.
And he didn't say wow once.
And we didn't see him on a jet ski. So sad.
We got to see that.
Yeah.
I got to see him on a jet ski.
Yep. Got to see that come to fruition.
Yeah.
100%.
So let's give Loki a grade because we like I like when we give grades.
I should give Widow a grade then too.
All right, let's start with Widow. Here we go.
B- on Widow. Because I did like it, and I do want to watch it again. But it was kind of sloppy. But it was typical superhero sloppy. I liked enough of it. So B-.
Yeah. I'm going to go with my gut and say B.
Okay.
B-.
Okay.
I'm torn because I don't want to give it a B-.
Why not?
C+. I'll give it a C+.
Okay.
It passed because okay,
nothing to write home about.
Yeah, I haven't seen it again. And normally with a Marvel movie, I'll go see it 2-3 times in theaters. I haven't seen it again. I haven't had the desire to.
There wasn't a lot of big set pieces that screamed, "Go watch that again."
Yeah.
You know.
Did anybody watch it at home? Did you guys buy it?
Premier
Access?
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
I have a question for that. When you buy it with Premier Access, are you allowed to watch it as many times as you want?
Yep.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's mine now.
That's kind of badass. Well, yeah, that's kind of badass.
So it unlocks it, is what they say.
Yeah.
That's badass.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna watch it again tomorrow.
I want to watch it again, but I feel like I'm not gonna do the $30 because when I was not gonna do it. Because then I have if I want to own it on my own rights, I have to buy it again, and I want to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, C+.
Right, Loki scores.
Loki scores.
A-.
A-. Okay.
I felt like some of the fighting was a little weak. It's these aren't martial artists, and I don't think they wanted to throw a bunch of CG at us, so they just did what they could. And it doesn't look like they went through a lot of training for a few kerfuffles. So it's not Star Wars level of training, or Keanu Reeves level of training, So and there was a lot of Hiddleston hair and tie flipping and flourishes and stuff. So it was fine. And then I'm gonna hold my guns that their friendship developed a little quickly. But that's really
You gave it an A- and then said all negative things about it.
Those are my only complaints. That's it. And I think those are two very minor things. You know what I'm saying? Like fight choreography and then that little friendship nitpick. But everything I've been gushing about it for the last half hour. I love the show. So those are my only two complaints. That's why
their relationship was like the whole series though.
Still felt fast.
So you need more time. You would take more time. You need more time to build up.
Did it feel fast because you only got 6 episodes?
Maybe.
Do you know totally? I saw something today that said Loki has been on screen less than a certain amount of time, 2 hours in all the movies in 10 years. He's only been on screen for 2 hours, and this is him on screen for 6 hours.
Yeah, pretty cool.
That was pretty dope.
That's great.
Caleb, what's your score?
Are we grading it on
shows versus shows, or shows versus
is it
movies?
Shows versus shows, or everything?
I think it has to be everything.
Oh,
I think it has to be everything.
No,
right?
I was judging on its own merit.
I think you have to put it because it's a 6-hour story, which is more than the movies, so it's more impactful.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it an A. I'm gonna give it an A. That's solid. It's real solid. My only beef is that they let Tom Hiddleston do his own fight scenes.
Right.
I'm glad they did, but also
yeah, but
a couple times it's kind of clear he can't.
Loki
fight.
is not a good. What if Loki's not a good fighter because he's Loki and
true.
he's not training
Also
with
true.
Thor? He's Loki.
Also true. But it would also make sense that Loki fights Drunken Master style or something really tricksy that's skilled.
He's like an ice giant rogue. I need to see some sneaky shit.
I think it helps his character. Even in the fight in the chamber, with the timekeepers, quote unquote, he asked for help. I need a little help here.
Yeah.
Because he's not as good as fighter as Sylvie, who's been fighting her entire existence.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. No, you're right. That's a very small beef. That's why it's still an A for me.
Okay.
100%. Not a 100%. I'm like a 95, 94, 96.
Mr. Sodium.
Is that everybody?
I haven't given my grade yet. I just talked too much.
I'll give it an A. I enjoyed it a lot. Like I said, I don't critique as much as everybody else. Like I didn't notice that the fight scenes weren't all that. I mean, now that I think about it, like yeah, I mean, some things could have been different. There was one thing of where they're in the timekeeper's chamber, and then Loki gets killed, but Sylvie didn't see that she stood up behind him.
Yeah, that bothered me too.
She was right. She was like next to him, like 4 feet, and she apparently stood up, got completely behind him, and then put it directly into his back with nobody noticing. Come on,
but
now.
Also though, and
have a spider sense tingling or
if
nothing?
I can play devil's advocate, Loki was about to profess his love for her. In that moment, she may have been distracted. She has feelings for Loki too.
You should have heard something.
Yeah, you ain't getting up with the fucking.
I just see like Renslayer, like
nightstick,
like sneaking around.
She's a small woman. She can sneak up. She can like
fucking Ace Ventura, like
fucking Pink Panther.
And
then plus,
yeah, and then the story, just the storyline of seeing him change, like especially in I think it was the first episode, whenever he sees like he's the reason his mom dies.
Oh shit, dude.
Yeah. And like shit like that, and like he changes almost in an instant, like because he ran, came back, saw all that shit, and was like, "Fuck, I ain't going nowhere. Like, there's no fucking point."
Yeah.
Like I fucked up, and like literally,
and him seeing himself die, and the like emotion that came out of him,
and then when it says end of file,
yeah. And when he found the Infinity Stones in the fucking drawer and was like, I've been fighting for this shit my whole life, and they ain't worth shit here. Like he was like, this fucking thing, fuck it, and just like threw it to the side. Like the Tesseract was like, yeah, I don't need this fucking thing anymore. Yeah, that was cool too. Yeah,
nice. So I have to give it, compared it to all the everything Marvel Studios has done, I have to give this, I want to say an A. I want to say A plus, but A plus is reserved for Endgame, right? And this is not a 100. So it's a 92, 93.
Isn't Endgame an S? Isn't an S higher than an A in elementary?
I think the reason why it marks so high because it ended so strong, and if it didn't end strong, there was a lot of pressure on that last episode for me. It was a lot of like, all right, now bring it home.
Nail this.
Like we got to bring it home. And Jonathan Majors outacted everyone for 40 minutes. Yep. Just literally, it was like earlier someone said it was a conversation with intellectuals, and in my mind I was like, no, it was Jonathan Majors shitting on everybody with acting skill, right?
Yeah, it's great.
The Owen Wilson, his entire character is endearing to me. Like I just loved it. Tom Hiddleston is just like what he's brought to Loki and how it's developed. I never saw coming. I even looked back at the first Thor. I've looked back at the first Avengers where they're fighting Loki, and like you just cannot see this coming. You can't see like that character development coming.
In the first Avengers, he's such a two-dimensional villain. It's just, I'm a bad guy here to fuck shit up.
Yeah. But they've really. I think Loki is the first villain that basically created the momentum that the MCU carries. And I don't think if it wasn't for Loki's character that we'd have that. Like, I don't think it would be as big as it was. Like, with Loki created the villain that you kind of like, and that's it.
And he's been around since the third movie.
Yeah.
Right. Like he's been around since the third of 23 Marvel movies at this point, and like continues to pop up.
Yeah.
And now has his own show. Y'all, the end clip tag of just the stamp that said season 2. I had no expectation because the last 2 shows haven't ended like we're gonna get more. Yeah. When it said season 2, I literally gasped. I was so excited.
That's great.
Loki fucking slaps.
I think Loki's gonna make it harder for me to like other Disney Plus series going forward.
I think
sure.
I think Hawkeye's gonna be a pretty big departure if it's going to do what they've sort of styled it off of, which is this series tech by a writer named Matt Fraction, where it's like a slice of life. It's just dude living in an apartment with his dog, taking out the local mafia. Like it's sort of slapsticky and not in a goofy way, which is sort of ironic to say, but like just really well written, just good, like full of heart. But it's just an assassin contractor just trying to make it by, and obviously it's going to do more than that because it's Phase 4. But like the whole like graphic they designed for the show looks like this comic series. So I don't know. Being Phase 4, they're probably gonna do something different, but based on what they're patterning it off of visually, graphically, it could potentially be something much different. So I don't know. We'll see.
I think that Black Widow and Loki happening at the same time is a pretty good, not like show of force, but like show of capability. Like I think that Hawkeye being just a contract killer taking on criminals is awesome because like Black Widow and Loki prove that like the Marvel universe can do grounded fucking spy thrillers and capers with fucking multiversal wars at the same time and make you care about the characters inside. And like, yeah, if fucking Hawkeye is just not big shit. Like I remember liking Ant-Man because I was like,
I was gonna say
this is
that
the first Marvel movie in a minute where like the world wasn't ending.
I was about to say that like they've already shown us the highs and lows, like the ups and downs of storytelling, right? Where like you have something big because they, like I said on Steve's stream, they all can't be super big movies. Like they all can't be super big stories. So we have to have those up and downs where it kind of like levels us out a little bit, right? Like so like the Shang-Chi may be a smaller story, albeit dragons and shit, but a smaller story than, you know, Spider-Man, who's going to be the crossover events. So we're going to get these stories and then the crossover events that everyone's going to want to see because of their big crossover events, and they're going to get all the hoopla and all the energy. But, you know, these stories in between are also going to be really good. I am looking forward to She-Hulk, one of my favorite comic books. Who saw that coming, right? So, like, these stories are going to go up and down. And I think we have to curtail our expectations to that. They all can't give us in-game energy, which I think is something that happens when something is as big as in-game, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So we gotta swell back up to it.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta bring our expectations back down, which is wild considering what we just got. But we gotta build up to whatever the next big thing is, which is wild considering what we just got. Like, this does not feel like a reset. This feels like it keeps getting more and more epic. So maybe it's not going to do that at all. Maybe it's just going to get more epic than Endgame somehow. But with little rests in like Hawkeye or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, fucking if they bring an alternate universe version of Tony into anything, it's already bigger than Endgame.
Ironheart.
Do you think they could bring back Robert Downey Jr. and it not be horrible?
I think we're gonna have Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans show up again. I just don't think it'll be the way everybody would think they would do it. I don't know how they're gonna do it. Like, I would love for some multiversal shit where like fucking Steve and Iron Man show up and you're just like, oh fuck, and they're like, hey, we're gonna help real quick, but then we gotta go back.
No, I think what we're about to get is more likely. What I've just shared is more likely.
I can't see that, my friend.
As far as business is like the business of this movie making, whatever is concerned, and how old these actors are getting, and you know, some of them wanting to move on and stuff like that. Like Tom wants to do this forever, but the rest of them don't.
I'm sure Chris Evans was down to keep going. I think that was because he's young as shit, right?
Right.
Like he's
Chris Hemsworth has also said that if this is the only thing he does, he'll be happy.
But we're gonna get Ironheart.
See some checks he's getting. You know,
like Ironheart's been cast, so we're getting.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying like bring him back as Iron Man. I'm saying we're dealing with multiple universes now, so there's not a reality that exists where it's not possible.
Absolutely,
he shows up for a minute.
Absolutely,
even if it's just a cameo. I'm saying we'll see cameos of old Avengers in the future because that makes sense. We're about to fucking see Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man again. And Tobey Maguire, right?
Yeah,
like if they're doing that in this, then they better have all three Hulks show up at some point.
Oh.
Eric Bana was good. Edward Norton was good. The movies were bad.
You're right. You right. You
This
right.
This has been my Batman defense for 30 years. Those were not bad Batmans. They were shitty movies.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Clooney was bad Batman.
Yeah, Clooney's garbage. Clooney's bullshit.
Yeah, you're right. Clooney's a bad actor. You're right.
No one said that.
Nope,
no one
not
said
what I
that.
said. He was a
we
bad
said he's a bad
Batman.
Batman.
Why?
Why?
Because it's George Clooney.
It was very distracting.
If you say it that way, then he's saying he's a bad actor.
No, Ryan. The reason I say that and it makes sense to me is because if I was like, that's a bad, I don't know, Luke Skywalker, and you're like, why? And I'm like, because he was played by Paul fucking Dano, and it's some dorky asshole. That guy's not who you think of, right?
The reason why
George
casting
Clooney
works,
doesn't work as Batman because when you think Batman, no one in their right mind thinks George Clooney.
Nobody, bro. Ben, look me in the windows of my soul and tell me you can see George Clooney and see Batman.
Excuse me. Have you seen any of Michael Keaton's other movies?
Yes.
That's a goofy fuck.
No.
And yes.
He is not a goofy fuck.
He's
just
thinking of Beetlejuice.
And Mr. Mom and Birdman, like he's not an imposing figure, but he pulled off Batman. I'm sorry.
He was the villain in Spider-Man's movie. He was great.
Yeah, he's a very intimidating, grizzled 60-year-old, but that's not what we had.
He was a great Batman, though. Even he did better than Clooney.
He did multiple
Even the goofy
things.
guy did better than Clooney, dude.
Yeah, Clooney's never been an action hero to me.
Never.
This is another podcast.
Neither was Keaton.
we need to,
dude, you're literally saying that about one of the best, one of the best Batman ever. You're saying neither was Keaton. You're reaching.
Why do you try so hard to defend George?
Liam Neeson wasn't doing action movies till his 60s. Like anybody, I'm saying if you're a good actor, you should be able to do anything. So I'm saying George Clooney is probably a good enough actor to play a good Batman, but I'm going to blame the rest of the movie on it being a bad Batman, not George Clooney.
It was 100%.
His Batman was also bad, though.
100% his fault.
Anyway, I pasted a picture here of Wakanda firing like 10,000 missiles. So your arguments are garbage.
The books are better than the movies. My name's Ben.
Tech's excited for What If because of the comics, so I'm allowed to have higher expectations.
But he's not gonna watch What If and be like, "That's not how the comics were, so it sucks."
The first time he says it, though, I'm gonna fucking bring it up.
Yeah, of course.
So now I'm never gonna have to say. I'm gonna write it down so I can never say it, bro. All right, Ben.
Your microphone mutes as soon as you start talking.
Ben, what are you working on?
Like,
what am I working on?
Yeah,
I'm working on
more bad opinions.
Jesus Christ!
I'm fucking with you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Just a lot of freelance contract work, some graphics, some logos, some comic book stuff. Feels good. Feels good to stay busy. Gym is found like a nice even pace right now. Not a lot of incoming, not a lot of outgoing. So I'm just kind of fucking coasting right now. Kind of all right with that. Feel a little overwhelmed today. Felt a little overwhelmed. A little too much on my plate, but I'm getting through it. So
good.
Yeah.
Lubwub.
Man, in the last month, I have fucking scraped all the paint off the foundation of my house and repainted or sanded and then primed and repainted all of that. And all my stairs, external stairs and railings, and rearranged shit in the house. And then I got sick for a week, and I'm just coming out of that. So I'm not actively working on anything right now because I'm still recovering from my cold I had up until today. But I do have only a few more maybe days of work to do to finish up the big Halo series that me and my grandma were doing for Proc Gen. So that's dope. And I've got some feelers out and some conversations started with some people about interviews and podcasts and things like that. I'm trying to like get the wheels spinning again because the last month there was a chance we were going to sell our house for like a month because like we were trying to capitalize on the market. So we've just been doing like all of the fucking housework day in, day out. So I apologize. Not much going on, but I got things that I'm working on now that's passed. So, you know, yeah.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah. Ryan.
Hi. I took a step back from my actual job and stepped down from being a manager just to a full-time employee so I could get my lawn care business going. I'm up to 4 yards now.
Nice.
which is something. Ben's got my graphics done. They look fucking great. I've got yard signs all over town now. I've got business cards going out to the people they need to go to. I'm loving that. I'm working 8 to 4. Weekends off now, like an adult should. So it's pretty nice. Spending a lot of time with my family. I got some stuff in the works for we're working on moving, that kind of thing. But other than that, not much.
Sweet.
Nice.
Tech.
Oh, sorry. One thing. Are we talking? Is this goals for next time, or are we gonna go through that too?
Probably not gonna go through that now. So if you want to throw some goals, go ahead.
Well, so I don't read a lot, and I really need to start. But with this lawn care thing, instead of reading, I'm actually going to be doing audiobooks.
Sweet.
And I already have some books lined up. Shoot, I had it written down. Where the hell did it go? So kind of entrepreneurial, at least
Sweet.
for a few. Shit, let me open up my notes. Come on, phone. There's one called I think it's called The Pumpkin Plan. It's apparently a really, really good book for anybody starting up a business in any kind of field. And then there's another one called The One Thing that is also right in that entrepreneurial area. So I'm going to start listening to those. And, I mow for like 4 or 5 hours a week. So that's definitely enough time to get a few books in, at least, throughout the year even too. So, yeah.
Nice. I like books like that. They're tough. Some of them are real garbage. Some of them are really great. So have fun slogging through, what could be a really interesting listen, and one that could literally reformat your brain. I think my last few years of listening to stuff like this has really kind of changed how I think about starting businesses. And Tech and I talk about all this stuff all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But there's one I bought recently that the font was like this big on the page. It was like 2 paragraphs per page. It was like a kid's book. It was really dumb. So not all of them are great, but
yeah.
Anyway, that's cool, man.
Tech.
All right. Well, I am working on a lot of things as always. The business is going good. Luster's keeping me busy on a day-to-day basis, which is good. It's bringing in money, which is good. So just trying to figure out how to expand and grow. But everything that's is a constant thing. Music wise, I just mixed and mastered like 20 songs this last 2 weeks. So I'm going through all the instrumentals that I want to put out, and I'm mixing and mastering them as I go. So I can get it all ready, and then I'll worry about names and project covers and all that good stuff. So I'm getting towards that. What else? Speaking of books, I like that you brought up books. I'm like 3 books in my backlog that I need to finish. YouTube, I forgot the name of the book, Guide to YouTube or something like that, written by this guy who's just insanely good at YouTube, with a foreword by Mr. Beast. This is great. It's called The YouTube Algorithm, is the name of the book.
Okay.
I just bought this book. So I need to get into this.
Yep.
The Bomber Mafia. And I need to finish.
Is that new?
Yeah, it just came out 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
Okay. Also, Ben, you'll be happy to find out he made it to be an audiobook before being a written book.
Yep.
Sweet.
So the audiobook version has actual audio clips.
Yeah.
I got Audible credits. I'm gonna go buy that right now.
Nice. Stream is I'm at a crossroads of stream because it's just not growing, even though I do have dedicated people who watch every morning, but I just don't feel like it's some mornings it's just so dead, and then another morning I'll get rated, you know what I'm saying, for some random person, and then there'd be a bunch of so it's so up and down. But then I got a payout last week, and I'm like, oh, I got to keep going, you know what I'm saying? I'm at a crossroads of streaming, when do I want to do it and whatnot. So
yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, sure.
It's always
that road's fucking hard sometimes.
It's a very mentally taxing road, very much so. But anything you do creative, I've noticed, is just it's always a battle. It's always a numbers battle. It's always am I doing the right thing battle? It's a lot of mental behind the scenes that go with all the stuff that you do when you're doing something that's creative and you want to get more attention on it. One thing that has been working is TikTok has been growing. Nice. So yeah, I'm actually at the point where I'm getting followers, every day.
Nice.
Still not
dude.
still not like anything viral or anything insane, but it's they're slowly, interactions are coming in and it's slowly building more so than before. But it's really hard to keep up with that algorithm with 3 videos a day. It's just annoying.
Yeah. I have a friend whose third fucking TikTok has 30,000 views.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't fucking get it.
You just gotta have that one thing, bro.
Yeah.
There was somebody that has a TikTok of this plastic pool floating in the wind, and they put that Titanic music to it, and it has like 6 million views or something like that, and they have like 3 videos or something. It's just, but it's great. It's fucking funny.
Can I close this out with an interesting thing to think about per our previous conversations in this episode?
Go for it. Close it up.
What if say yes to that? That's pretty innocuous.
What if Wakanda's reaction looks like the way it does because they just kind of had a civil war, and Killmonger's fight destroyed a lot of their fucking weapons?
I'll concede to that a little bit. I still want
because they don't like staff up to fight a war against the world because they don't do that. And he like shipped all their shit out and they got destroyed.
I guess I still wanted the most technological nation in the world to have a little bit more than dudes with capes, but that's we don't need to go back down this. That's a good point. That's a great point. But I need laser panthers and missiles. But besides that, that's a good point.
And that is episode 22 of the Nerdy Bitch Show. 22.
Next will be episode 23, and we will talk about TBD
stuff.
What's TBD?
We'll tell you later.
Thank you for listening.
It's sad every time we finish an episode because I have to delete all these notes I spent like 2 days on.
That's how I feel. Dude, when I edit videos for any kind, it's 20 gigabytes every time. Like it's like so much space on my computer. It takes so much time, and you just never get it back. It's just time gone.
Yep.
We love you guys. Thanks for listening. Please share and like and all that stuff. Share with your friends, family. And
bye.
And if you see a ghost, always say,
"How about ghosts?"
Piss off, ghost.
It didn't say it.
It didn't.
Right.
But
piss off, ghost.
What? Thanks, guys. Peace. Bye.
Bye-bye.